Mike Noble from OH Predictive Insights joining us the morning after the election. Mike, tell us, how did you do with your polling this week?
Well, for us, we did fantastic. All three polls we have on record were going to fall within the margin of errors, so we feel really great about it. However, we can't speak for a lot of the other pollsters, especially for the folks in Florida. But us here in the desert, we're happy to give them tips on how to do accurate polling.
Here we are Wednesday morning. Arizona was out of play. Now it's back in play. We're airing later in the week. How is all this happening that Donald Trump thought he had the state? The press, the polls maybe say he doesn't. I mean, you can help us understand this, right?
100%. And I get it, it's a little bit confusing, and I've been having a chat with folks or be on social media to kind of clarify it. But happened here in Arizona is that Fox News initially called the race for Biden. However, there were still too many unknowns, and they were looking at previous traditional turnout trends. And what we knew going into this, that the turnout trends of voter behavior, so who's voting early, who's voting at the polls, was completely upside down compared to all the historical trends we had previously here in Arizona. So knowing we knew Republicans were going to make up a ton of ground on election day. And so, and the question currently we have is where things are at right now is that mathematically Trump still has a chance to win Arizona and eke out a win. Whether you agree with it or not, that's the case. And so, there's two batches of ballots. There's the election day voters, and then there's folks that dropped off in the box on election day. We know on early ballot on day of voters at election day that they're about 60% of them are going Trump. So he's winning them significantly. And the thing is, though, he needs to win about 65% of the votes that are out there to essentially come back and win. The problem, or the $1 million question we have, the unknown, the day of that they dropped off the ballots in the box there, is that follow the same trend as the election day voters, or is that more of a mixed bag? And that is the unknown that we should hopefully find out in the next few days as they finish counting the ballots. So again, too close to call still yet for president, so a chance he can win. However, I think for the Senate race, though, I think that one's a foregone conclusion.
So the Senate race, I mean, there were tens of millions of dollars that were spent. Is that what really tipped this in the direction of Mark Kelly?
Well, it seems to be a trend that, Kirsten Sinema surprisingly actually outspent Martha McSally in the 2018 midterm elections for US Senate. And it's interesting when you look at the cost per vote. So the amount of money spent to how many votes you got, how much did it cost per vote to come in? What was your efficiency? And it's interesting, Martha McSally actually had a better cost per vote. She was more efficient with her money. However, Kirsten Sinema actually had more tonnage or more money spent. And now you see that Kelly as well, same thing. McSally was more efficient. However, Kelly had more tonnage. So was it the total factor? Don't know, but was it a key factor? I'd probably say yes.
What does your polling tell you about the popular vote here in the state of Arizona for Joe Biden and Donald Trump?
Well, I mean, the current polling we had, I think our poll of record, we had it at +2 for Joe Biden, with a 3.7% margin of error. So, Trump could win, less than 1%, by less than 1%, or Biden, could be +2, or if he had stronger trends, he could be even +4. As we're seeing that, it's going to fall probably in the 2-1, or even slightly go Trump's way. And the polling, our modeling, again, what we modeled and what we're seeing on turnout seems to fit exactly what we expected.
Now, what you were describing to me about Donald Trump, possibly the slim odds this Wednesday morning of winning the state, where did he go wrong? I mean, he seems to think that he had Arizona pretty handedly. What did he miss?
Suburbs. Suburbs. That was this shift that really happened. Because remember, prior to the 2018 elections here in Arizona, every statewide office was held by a Republican, and they had pretty strong majorities in the state House, state Senate. Now we look at past the midterms, and even this, Arizona has become far bluer ever since. And we knew from 2018 the big shift, what has moved Arizona from a reliably red state to now a battleground state here in the national politics, is that it's really that suburban shift. Because Arizonans, there's a very big group that, again, they're very independent. We're the home of Barry Goldwater, John McCain, and again, with this very polarized base strategy, especially Trump employed, it really pushed independents that used to lean center right, moved them left, but actually pretty far left. And that's really the issue of why we're seeing the results that we are.
Wouldn't it be fair to say that this is no longer the Republican conservative stronghold of Barry Goldwater, like you just said?
I 100% agree. And I think people can now hopefully see that Arizona is not was traditionally classified as a Republican state. I would say it's definitely an independent state. So running hard left, running hard right on the state, it's either center, center right, center left, because Arizona is, again, prefer a bit more of a moderate when it comes to statewide office.
Surprise you that this state just voted to legalize marijuana and recreational use of marijuana and to tax the wealthy?
Well, not surprised one bit. The marijuana legalization fell exactly in line with our polling, and it's interesting that as the years have gone on, that it has become more acceptable. But the big differences of why it passed this time compared to where it failed 4 years ago was that there really was no opposition. You had $5 million spent against it last time. This time, less than $1 million. I mean, it was very anemic to say the least, and there wasn't much. And much of the anti-opposition was actually going towards that the small business or that tax on the wealthy. And so the education, though, I'm not really surprised. I knew it would be close because Arizonans aren't a big fan of taxes. However, education is the number one issue among Arizona likely voters. Roughly 1/3 believe that is the most concerning priority issue. So you could tie almost anything to something that benefits education and would probably bode well in this current climate.
All right, Mike Noble from OH Predictive Insights making sense of this week's very interesting election. We thank you for your insight and we look forward to having you back on again soon.
Lauren, it's always a pleasure. Thank you.